They say the Mafia and the CIA had nothing in common. One dealt in shadows, the other claimed to protect the light. But in America's darkest decades, those two worlds didn't just collide, they conspired. This is the story they don't tell in textbooks, because the truth isn't about who was good or evil. It's about who needed who. In the 1950s, the United States government faced a new enemy: communism. Fidel Castro had taken Cuba, the Soviet Union was testing missiles, and America needed eyes and ears in places no official agent could reach. So when the CIA looked for allies, it didn't turn to politicians or diplomats. It turned to the men who already owned Havana, the American Mafia. Sam Giancana, Santo Trafficante, Johnny Roselli, names whispered in casinos and Congress alike. They ran the gambling, the drugs, the women, and they hated Castro for throwing them out of paradise when he seized their hotels. That shared hatred became the foundation of a deal, a secret war born in smoke-filled rooms and whispered promises. The CIA approached them through intermediaries. No paper trails, no signatures, just cash, favors, and silence. In return, the Mafia would help assassinate Castro. They supplied hitmen, routes into Cuba, poison-laced cigars, and even infiltration plans through their criminal networks. The mission failed repeatedly, but the relationship, it didn't end, it evolved. Because once you make a deal with the devil, you don't just walk away. By the 1960s, Giancana's Chicago outfit was being watched closely by the FBI. At the same time, the CIA was planning covert operations in Latin America. And somehow, the same names kept showing up on both sides. Mobsters who laundered CIA money, CIA agents who protected mob operations overseas, and politicians who owed their seats to both. This wasn't just organized crime anymore. It was organized power. When President Kennedy came into office, he promised to clean up corruption and break the Mafia's grip. His brother, Attorney General Robert Kennedy, made it personal. Hundreds of indictments, nationwide raids, and the beginning of the end for men like Giancana. But what the public didn't know was that the CIA was still using those same mobsters behind the curtain. The agency needed deniability, and the Mafia provided exactly that. When the Bay of Pigs invasion collapsed, some whispered that Giancana and Roselli knew before Kennedy did. And when JFK was assassinated in 1963, rumors turned into theories. Some said it was payback. Others claimed it was cleanup. No one could prove it. But one thing was certain. After Dallas, everything changed. In the following decade, the line between intelligence and crime blurred beyond recognition. Vietnam, Watergate, the drug trade. Everywhere the CIA operated, the mob found a way to profit, from heroin routes in Southeast Asia to casino fronts in the Caribbean. A marriage of convenience became a global shadow empire. Even the Senate's Church Committee in 1975 was shocked to discover how deep it went. They found records of assassination plots, money laundering through mob-connected banks, and CIA handlers who destroyed evidence before Congress could act. The agency called it plausible deniability. The Mafia called it business as usual. But power never lasts forever. By the 1980s, the Mafia's old guard was crumbling under the RICO Act. The FBI turned its attention inward, uncovering how intelligence operations had blurred with organized crime for decades. Victims vanished, files went missing, and men who once controlled empires died alone, still claiming they served their country. Sam Giancana was found shot in the mouth in his own kitchen, a message that loyalty, like secrecy, has an expiration date. Johnny Roselli was discovered stuffed in a steel drum floating in Miami Bay. The message was the same. The war was over, but the truth had been buried with them. Still, Fragments of that secret alliance surface every few years. Declassified documents, faded recordings, offhand confessions from old operatives. And the more we learn, the less clear the line becomes between patriotism and profit. Because maybe the CIA didn't recruit the mob. Maybe, in a way, the mob recruited the CIA. After all, who understands manipulation, secrecy, and power better than the men who built empires from the shadows? Even today, some say the partnership never truly ended, only evolved into corporate espionage, cyber warfare, and political influence under new names and new agencies. The faces have changed, the tactics have changed, but the game remains the same. And in the quiet halls of government and crime alike, there's still one unspoken rule. Never ask who's really pulling the strings. Because in America, the mob didn't just fight the CIA. They learned from them. And together, they changed the meaning of power forever.